week 3 of our 4-week series of the color personality. This has been a hit. We have had the first blue, which was fun, and we learned all about the blue personality, and which was totally, I learned so much. Last week we learned about red. Amy Paul was, and she shared with us and so much insight into the driven personality, and I can't, sometimes I can't even have any fun because they're so driven. This week, I am so excited to introduce you to my friend, Ambassador Rachael Neagle, and she is green. I'm not going to try to explain to you green. I have a little green, mainly red myself, so I'm going to turn it over to Rachael. We thank you so much for sharing your time with us, your expertise, something that you live every day, the green personality. So Rachael, take it away.
All right. Well, I'm very excited to be with you guys tonight. Unfortunately, I don't know. First of all, I want to ask you a question. Have you ever had one of those days where you woke up and you said, I know I have to be on a team call tonight and I've got to schedule the time to do my hair? Unfortunately, I did not get that far in my day to-day. So I'm glad to see that Tammy's rocking the top knot. We call this the top knot CEO around here.
Absolutely. You should see my yoga pants.
I've got mine on too. So I'm really excited to be with you guys tonight. Yes, I am a green personality. Green personalities are typically known for being analytical, data-driven, research-based, slow to process decision-making. We're not necessarily impulsive in our decision-making. We're very loyal. So those are just some like adjectives to keep in mind as we're talking about the green personality. Did you have questions for me, or did you just want me to take it away?
No, you just take it away.
Okay, so as a green personality, I'll tell you guys a little bit about how I came to Plexus. I had suffered through what I affectionately call hormone hell for about 5 years after the birth of my first child. Looking back, really was already going through some stuff before I even got pregnant with him. Had a lot of trouble getting pregnant, had a lot of trouble staying pregnant. And that probably should have alerted somebody to the fact that something was going wrong with me, but it didn't. I got pregnant, I had the baby, I was happy. And then a lot of just random, unexplainable symptoms started to manifest themselves. And so, like so many of us, I went straight to my doctor with these symptoms. They did lab work and I was pronounced perfectly normal, and there was really no explanation for what was going on. I also believe that greens are very intuitive. I think that we have a know in our knower. And so when something doesn't seem right, we don't just accept answers at face value. We sort of have to reconcile the data that we're being given with what we feel intuitively. And I feel like my greenness was really brought out during this period of time in my life. But I think it really began in high school. I was on my high school speech and debate team. And everything that you do in terms of a debate is fact driven. You can't just say something. You have to be able to back it up with data. You have to be able to back it up with research. Because if you don't and somebody calls you out on it, you're going to be exposed. You're going to be embarrassed. So fast forward, after I had my son, when I was bouncing back and forth from doctor to doctor, I ended up finding a wonderful naturopathic physician who helped get me to about 85% of what I would consider normal. And it was around that time that I started seeing a fairly holistic-minded friend started posting about Plexus on Facebook. And I was intrigued. And like a true green, I messaged her and said, I don't think these products are going to be for me, but I want you to send me some information anyway, and I'm going to research it on my own. And that's what I did. I literally went through the ingredients. I only was interested in the Slim, and I went through the ingredients line by line, cross-referencing them with my particular diagnoses. And what I found was that not only not only were these the products that I should be on, it probably was the missing link to the reason why I hadn't been able to get from 85% to 100%. So I ordered retail because I'm slow in my decision making. That was in November. I didn't actually join as an ambassador until January 25th. Um, and and even then, it was really just to be able to get my products covered because my sponsor assured me that if I could get 3 to 5 people to order, then I, could cover the cost of my own products. So that's what I did. And I think the great thing and the great value in greens as you are, maybe you are prospecting somebody who's a green. Maybe you've already got somebody who's a customer, but you'd love to onboard them as a green. But a lot of people kind of shy away from our personalities because we're not the blue that's going to jump on board right away because we just say, hey, if there's a party, I want to be at it. So sign me up. I don't care about the consequences of it or whatever. We're not the reds that are just super duper driven and I didn't see in the beginning the business potential in it whatsoever. In fact, I had made like a inner vow that I would never do network marketing. And it's funny how the Lord has a way of, using the very things that we swear that we would never do to completely and totally change our lives. But here's the thing about greens. And if you are using the color personalities, I really have trained my team to how to kind of evaluate the color personalities versus the kind of things that you're seeing people post on Facebook. Once I figured out and knew what was going on with my body all those years before, I, became, if I came across an article about it, I would post it on Facebook. One of the first things that my doctor had me do was remove all gluten from my diet. And I always tell people that I was gluten-free before it was like cool to be gluten-free. And I lived in a little, not little compared to where some of you guys live, but I'm from Amarillo, Texas originally. And we don't have, a tremendous amount. We're not the first town to get a Whole Foods. We still don't have a Whole Foods. So to be put on this quest to find really good gluten-free options, I had to really educate myself. Well, I'm a teacher by trade. So it then became the natural extension for me to educate other people about that. And so I think that's another common thing that you will find with greens is they may be the ones that post news articles. They may not be health and wellness related at all. But if they're somebody that is continually trying to offer an opinion and turn around and back it up with science or a news article or an opinion piece of some kind, those are your greens. Now, here is my caution to you, because we all know the danger in if you have somebody that says, well, I Googled plexus and the first website that showed up was about da 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 da. We all know the kind of stuff. I think that it's really important for you as you're prospecting green personalities. If you've identified that person as a green personality, when I've identified people as a green personality, rather than just allowing them to say, okay, I'm going to go off and research it on my own, I'm going to say, I visited with you about our probiotic before. Here is an article that I want you to read that explains the science behind our probiotic. Or, we've talked about the Slim and the benefits of it. Here's a really great article that I came across that talks about the benefits of chromium in terms of its balancing blood sugar. Try to stay ahead of the game on what research you give them. A great tool right now is our catalog because it has the clinical trial data in the center of the catalog. And so that's something I would stick in the mail, and I would even put like a little Post-it note bookmark thing so that that's the first piece of attention that they are drawn to, because anything that you can back up with science, with data, with numbers is going to appeal to your green personality. Now, as far as how to handle them as team members, once you have recruited them, Um, the great thing about greens, if I can like toot my own horn a little bit on it, is that we are, before I even really knew anything about these color personalities, my husband used to tell me that my greatest uh, thing that he appreciated or valued the most about me was that I was loyal to a fault. And that's one of the beautiful things about a green personality is that once you have them, they're not going to go anywhere. Um, Also, because we place a really, really high value on people trusting us, people coming to us for information, just a real high value on relationships. We may not be the blue personality that was in a sorority that brings 30 sorority sisters with her to the table. Man, do I wish that we were that way. But the people that we typically bring along with us also have that loyal characteristic as well. We're not going to flip from one thing to the next because once we've attached our name to something, um, we're, we would never want people to think, oh gosh, she said that she was sold out on that company, and then look, she turned around and did something else. Um, so those are some things. I also think that greens tend to be strategic. I'm sitting here and I'm looking at, if y'all haven't done the Strength Finders 2.0 book, I did this and I've had all my level ones and adopted level ones do it now because it really shows you what your top 5 strengths are. And so for me as a green personality, my number 1 strength was communication. Um, my second one, strangely enough, was woo, which has the ability to like really, it's kind of like what it says, woo people over. I think that probably has something to do with being a good communicator. But my other ones were maximizer and strategic. And I think that those are also common things that would be found with a green personality is that like the posts, especially that I did when I originally began Plexus, it was really important for me to come up with my own unique content and not just copy and paste something that I had seen, 50 other people post. My posts were typically based on research. Now, obviously, that's all a little bit dicier now in terms of how to do that compliantly, but it still can be done. And so I think strategy is another big thing. So if you've got a green person on your team and you're kind of at a loss as what to do with them, how to lead them, because sometimes I'm thinking of a girl that's on my team that's also green, and she'll write a post and it's wonderful and it's factual and it's great, but it's 75 paragraphs long and nobody's going to read that. So you've got to work with them on condensers, condensing all of that great information that they are just, exploding with the opportunity to tell. We're always the kind of person at like a cocktail party or something that somebody might ask us a question and we go way off into like, what's that nerdy show, the Big Bang Theory? We're like a room full of those guys. We kind of got to dial it back a little bit because we can lose people. I've learned that when somebody messages me to ask me about ProBio 5, I have this thing of all the science that I want to tell them about ProBio 5, but I got to think, what are the key points that I can hit here? What's a personal testimonial that I can say about it? Now, if I know the person is a green personality, I can science them out and they'll love it. But if it's somebody else, I'm going to lose them because at the end of the day, all of the other 3 personalities just want to know that it works. They don't want to know how it works. It's kind of like somebody said an example one time of like the other personalities might ask you what time it is, and a green person would try to explain to you how the clock works. And you got to get away from doing that. As far as like, I think I said this already about how to handle having green personalities on your team, because I think sometimes blues, especially, kind of are like, I don't know what to do with them. Like the green personality, where I felt the most edified, the most immediate sense of acceptance on my larger team with my uplines was utilize your greens on your team pages. to if somebody's got a product question, if somebody's got a, a kind of science-based question, tag your green personalities in that, because you're getting a 2-for-1 on that deal. You're getting a good answer that they can back up, and it's not just like, oh, I think this might be the reason why. But secondly, you are giving us all the feels. We feel useful. Whereas there are other aspects of this business where we may not always feel as useful. I think I said on the call that I did this summer with Kelly Norman and some of the other diamonds that green personalities are great to utilize as a sideline buddy. One of the things that we find with the color personalities is that you'd think, oh, let's stick 2 reds together. Oh, let's stick 2 blues together. Really, it doesn't work as well that way. It's almost better to partner people as power partners or sidelines with somebody that's a little bit different. One of my power partners is Julia Carty, and she calls herself purple because she's very red and she's very blue, and she says she has 0 green in her whatsoever. And so we really utilize one another as, if she's got a product question, she messages me. But if I'm got like a question about, something more business oriented or goal setting or projecting points or something like that, then she's a great resource for me to use. Now, I can't be your green power partner because I've already got like 5 other people that utilize me for that. But there are people in this company that know so much about our products, that know. Now, one thing that I am kind of different about, there's a lot of greens that are very like they see a spreadsheet and they get giddy. That is one part of the green gene that I did not get. So it's another great thing. If you have somebody on your team, if they're a green personality and they're like, their background is maybe in accounting or engineering or something like that, they may be great people to help you utilize understanding your reports better, how to export something from your back office and isolate, certain data to see who turned off what month, or, who can, you narrow down in your reports that was somewhere between 50 and 99 PV last month and focus on them. That just, Excel just doesn't happen to be my love language. So is there anything I didn't cover that you would like for me to?
So if I was going to ask you, like maybe they're posting, let's talk about that. Mm-hmm. So they need to do a variety so that they reach every in they want to green personalities, and it's more sticks.
Yes. I mean, I think that that's one of the things that we all need to be doing, regardless of our color personalities, is, showing every aspect of this business. One of my uplines, Andrea Mitchell, will famously tell people that the only reason that she joined Plexus was because she saw Celeste, who she didn't even know at the time, win the $5,000 shopping spree to Bloomingdale's. And that was like, sign me up, That's never been a huge motivator for me. But if I limit my posting, my prospecting, my conversations, and my interactions with people to what motivates me, or what, kind of like, ooh, that excites me, then I'm doing myself an incredible disservice. So, if I see a girlfriend from college that is constantly going on girls' trips and that, is always having a girls' night out, or she and her husband are taking trips with other couples, it's pretty easy for me to look at her and go, that's a blue personality right there. And I'm going to be posting pictures of Hawaii and of the fun that we have at opportunity meetings, and definitely play up the fun aspect of that. In the reverse, if there's somebody that I think is a yellow personality, I don't think y'all talked about the yellow. That's next week for you guys. But those are the helpers. So those are very easy for me to appeal to and say, I'm so blessed because I've gotten to help so many people. So yeah, everything that you do, it's kind of like that law of attraction. And if all you ever put out there is just one part of who you are or what this company is. And listen, folks, I got to tell you, if you've read the Color Personality book, greens represent a true green personality, represents the smallest percentage of what is out there. So if you're a green and all you ever do is prospect to greens, you're probably not going to end up with a very big team. So another tip too is, we always kind of take this thing outward, like how would I prospect a blue or how would I prospect a yellow? But I think you've also got to take this information and turn it inward to your team pages. And remember that, we aim to post something every day on our team page that appeals to one of the color personalities. Because that way we don't ever lose anybody. There's something that we've posted that's grabbed a blue's attention. There's something that we've posted, for your green personalities. Those are your scholarly articles, or your, oh my gosh, guys, I'm so excited. I read this today, and it may not be compliant to share publicly, but it's great information for y'all to have about, the benefits of probiotic and how it helps with, such and such. So those are some tips as well.
Okay. What about this? If you have your team, how do you help them? Do they like to be accountable? Do they like to themselves? Do they want you to give them step 1, 2, 3, 4, your daily method of operation, do this every day?
I do think that green personalities thrive better in a system and thrive better with organization. Here's the problem is that it's very easy for a green, I think, to get bogged down in the minutia, to say, okay, here am I don't know if y'all are doing the daily action stacks. We've been doing those with our team for we're going on our second month. And even for me as a diamond, there are parts of that, because that's so business driven, that like part of my brain would rather just go over here and spend 2 hours researching, da 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 da, because there are other parts of that seem very terrifying. I will admit as a green that I'm absolutely terrified of cold messaging people, and it makes me throw up in my mouth a little bit when I do it. Like I just, but that's the great thing about accountability of having, my direct sponsor is a yellow. She's a licensed counselor. So she's really good at kind of talking me through the process and helping me with like affirmations and things like that wouldn't come naturally to me. So yeah, I do think that if you've got greens, how you really kind of like, okay, that's really awesome that you found that article. They may need you to hold them accountable to say, show me screenshots of of your income producing activity today. Because the research and the posting and the whatever, it sometimes is income producing, but it's not always.
Right. So are greens in nature? Do you consider yourself to be a sensitive person? Get your feelings hurt easily?
What's funny about that is that I would naturally say no, that I'm not. But by nature, green people want to be well received. We want to know that we did a good job. And so, but we're not like, somebody said one time that greens aren't huggers. And I thought, well, I don't mind giving hugs. But then I had some lady at church last week touch me, and I don't know her at all. And I kind of was like, why is she touching me? So maybe I am that way. Okay. I think that we like acknowledgement, maybe not necessarily the word of affirmation that like, I think that we always want to know job well done, like
we appreciate your knowledge that you have, and
that there's a place for it. And that's why I was saying earlier that if you've got greens and you want to make them feel like they belong in the community, probably the two most polarizing personalities out of the four are the greens and the reds. And the reds, because they're constantly cracking the whip and they're driving people and pushing them. And sometimes those are people that don't respond well to that kind of, motivating. Whereas the green people, like I said, we can get all in our head. We can get bogged down in the minutia. We can get trapped in the numbers. And that's why it's really good to partner them with somebody that is going to help draw that out.
So what color personality do you feel like that you would match best with?
I do well with a blue. I do. Because I think that it helps bring out the fun side.
Yeah.
It helps soften me up. It helps hey, Rach, come on, because I'm real, when you take the test that shows your color personalities, the breakout of what percentage you have, I'm pretty close on, it's definitively green, but there's a lot of yellow in there too. And so for me to just be partnered with a yellow person, I'm not being challenged in any way. And I think that's the whole point of a power partner or a sideline, is that it's that iron sharpening iron. I need somebody that isn't going to just let me stay in my comfort zone, but that's going to, it's kind of like this, I saw this thing a couple of years ago. And if you picture in your mind like a target, and you've got the middle of it, that's the comfort zone, and then there's sort of the rings that come out from it. If you push people initially, this is what I feel like would happen with a red person, with a green personality, is that they're such drivers that they would take a green and they would shove them so far outside of their comfort zone that it creates a negative experience, because it's anxiety producing, it's fear producing. It's like, I don't like the way that felt. I don't ever want to feel that way again. And I'm not ever doing what you told me to again. But if you can find somebody that pushes them just a little bit, it's sort of like the difference in my mind of the push that goes just a little bit outside the comfort zone is like what you feel at the top of a roller coaster, where there's like a little bit of terror, but a little bit of excitement. And then you get this adrenaline rush, and then you're smiling and you're like, oh my gosh, let's do it again. Whereas the too far out is the dreams you had as a kid where you went to school in your underwear or something. And it's not just a negative connotation to it.
Okay. So you have given us lots of great information, how to deal with green. If we're prospecting greens, we want them the facts, let them do their research, guide them, help to guide them to do that. And I think we need to give them a little time, give them their space, but still yet stay in contact. What would you?
Totally. You're not going to have a green that makes unless they were thinking about this without you knowing it long before you ever talked to them about it. I think it took me a solid 4 weeks. And it was, that's kind of that fortune is in the follow-up. They weren't following up with me every okay, are you going to join today? Are you going to join today? But they definitely followed up enough with me that I thought, okay, they really want me to do this.
Would it have run you off? Would it have run you off had they have followed up with you?
Oh yeah, and I can't tell you how many messages I got, before I ever joined Plexus from people, that wanted me to join skincare or not vitamins, but like the juice things or whatever, and those things just didn't appeal to me. It took something that met a need. It had to fill some kind of need in my life. I needed these supplements combined with me figuring it out for myself and then giving me the freedom to do it. But if all they had ever just said is, well, let me know, when you're ready, and then never followed up with me again, I don't know that I ever would have come back to it.
Perfect. I just appreciate your time so very much. I'm so glad you fixed your hair off, because then you look really bad. But this is real life, and you can go to the top of this country in your yoga pants and your top and love all, have fun, research the products.
Yeah.
You know, and the best part of it is that we get to mesh together and make a beautiful rainbow. And I just think it's awesome. I appreciate you so much. And I hope that maybe you can share this with your team so that they can benefit also from this awesome call. So thank you very much. Thank you guys for being on. The link will still be good when we're through here. So be sure that you share that with people that were not able to get on the call. So have a great evening.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.